Hi, I'm QDC. What we're about to build today is Tamiya's JSU-152, and this is a self-propelled tank, vehicle. Excuse me, not tank, but a vehicle. And the reason why I bought this particular kit to build is because of its unique history. This is a self-propelled vehicle that was first designed in 1943 during World War II, and it was such a successful design that it actually was in service until the 1970s. So this is a very nice self-propelled vehicle, and it was so powerful during its time when it first came out in 1943 that it was able to actually destroy Tiger tanks, and so it was nicknamed the Beast Killer. So let's go ahead and start building this kit right now. Let's go take a look inside this box. We have the decal, photo wedge parts, rope, the gun, figures, and parts of the hull, tracks, machine gun, upper hull, wheels, another set of tracks, lower hull, and the instruction sheet. I want to talk to you about a feature that Tamiya offered in their kit. These suspension arms are not perfectly parallel to the ground, and so Tamiya has included a jig for you to correct that problem. All you have to do is to insert the jig in here like that, and that will make it parallel, perfectly parallel to the ground. I want to talk to you about the two sets of tracks that Tamiya offers in this kit. What I'm pointing at is the traditional rubber band track, and Tamiya offers this in most of their kits. It's highly detailed and it's really nice. Now, one thing unusual about this particular kit is that Tamiya also includes a different type of set of tracks. It includes this track right here. And in this track, it's individual links that you're going to have to glue together. And this makes a more realistic looking set of tracks. And I really love this because in this kit, you don't have to buy a separate aftermarket product to make your model kit look more realistic. Tamiya already included these separate tracks for you. So if you're a beginner who likes this model kit, you have the traditional rubber band tracks, and this is pretty good. And for those of you who are more adventurous, who wants to have a more highly detailed model kit, then you're going to love using these individual link tracks. And that's what I'm going to do for my project. This is how Tamiya wants you to assemble the tracks. What you see right here is the jig, and they want you to use a tape and put the tape on top of the jig to mask it. And what this does is that it prevents the tracks from gluing onto the jig. Then you carefully put the tracks onto the jig, like I'm doing right here, and then use liquid glue to glue them together. And so what you're going to get as the end result is a very nice sag for the upper portion of the tank's tracks. This is a nice way to do it, but I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to use a different method that I use for Dragon's magic track system when I build Dragon model kits. And my method of doing it is that I'm going to pre-glue the tracks not onto the jig but onto the table here first. I'm going to just simply glue everything onto the table first, let it set, and then put that onto the jig. And here's a very small example that I've done. So I'm going to put that onto the jig like that and shape it in place. I just glued all the individual link tracks together. The glue has been set, and now I'm going to put the tracks onto the jig to give it its final shape. It's time for me to assemble the tracks. What I'm pointing at right now are the other sets of tracks that I glued together, and now they're set. So I'm going to put this upper portion of the tracks on top of the wheels, like so, and put this right down here. And I'm going to carefully wrap the wheels, the tracks around the wheels, like so. I want to talk to you about a unusual thing that Tamiya wants you to do. They want you to use a pin vise that I'm holding in my hand and insert a 1 millimeter drill bit. And what I'm pointing at are small indentations on this model kit. And they want you to make holes for each indentation, like so. I want to talk to you more about using photo etch parts. Tamiya has included a photo etch part for the grill, which is a nice feature for this kit. In order for you to use photo etch parts, you're going to have to use a hobby knife. What you do is that you put the photo etch part on a piece of wood, like I'm doing right now, and then, like using a sprue, you actually just cut the metal that's attaching to the metal photo etch part, like I'm doing right now. Just cut it out, and then you have the part that you need. Alright, so we built the model kit, and now it's time for me to show you what I think about this kit so far. Take a look. This is the completed model kit before painting and weathering, and this is a very nice model kit that Tamiya has made again. Tamiya has always been known for making good model kits, and this is no exception. I like the cast texturing of the hull, and the details are very nice. I especially like the optional link track system, or you could use the rubber band system if you're a beginner. Very nice option. Now, that being said, I do not think that this model kit is meant for the absolute beginner. If you're a beginner who never built a model kit before in your entire life, and you want to choose a first model kit to build, this will not be it. And the reason why is because I could see that the beginner would have a hard time or being annoyed making holes all over the hull using a pin vise that I'm pointing at right here. And some parts are kind of tricky to assemble. If you really want to build this kit, I would recommend building several other kits that are easier than this, and then once you got used to building model kits, then you should try this one. It's time for me to paint the model. Before I start painting the kit, I want to talk to you about how I actually mix colors. I like to mix my own colors when it comes to painting my model kits. And I use ordinary household canned paints that I bought at my local hardware store. And this is nothing special really, just ordinary paint. And so this gives you a rudimentary introduction about mixing paints. To make a military green, you need to mix together yellow and black. And it's very easy to do. All you have to do is decant the paint from the can to these cups and then mix the black with the yellow together, like I'm doing right here. And then I would mix it. And as you can see, it's turning green. And I would adjust the colors to suit the color that I need for the kit. So in this example, I think I need a little bit more black, but you get the idea about how I actually mix my own paint. I forgot to talk to you about how I painted the model in terms of its shades and highlights. So when you look at this model, it looks like it's just simply one color, green, but in reality, there's 4 different colors. If you take a look at any object, any tank, you're going to see that when light shines on that object, there's going to be shadows and highlights. So I've done my best to imitate those natural occurrences on this model kit. So what I'm pointing at are the actual colors that I actually used to paint this model. Right over here is the base color, the highlight, the bright highlight, and the shadows. And I use all these 4 colors to make this model look as it is. It's an optical illusion, but it's a very important optical illusion in my opinion. I'm going to add some mud effects. What you see right here is a cup of tile grout. And what I'm going to do is with this brush, I'm going to simply apply the mud onto the chassis. The tile grout has dried, and now it's time for me to give it a wash. What you see right here is a dilution of brown artist oil paint mixed with mineral spirits, and I'm going to give it simply a wash on the tile grout. I'm going to paint the road wheels with gunmetal paint. I'm going to add some chip paint. What I have on my tweezers is a sponge that has been dipped in black paint. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just simply dot that over areas where I think they're going to be chip paint. I'm going to give the model a wash. I'm going to add some brush streaks. I'm going to use this burnt sienna artist oil paint, and I put some on this toothpick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that dab of the paint right there, and then with a brush that's moistened with mineral spirits, I'm going to streak it down. I'm going to simulate soot effects. What I have right here that I'm pointing at is a black pastel chalk, and using this brush I'm going to simply brush on the chalk onto the muzzle to simulate the gun blast. I just finished painting the figure, and I think I did a okay job. Alright, so we built the model kit, we painted it, we weathered it, and now it's time for me to show you the completed model kit from the beginning to the end. Take a look. This is the completed model kit after painting and weathering, and I like the paint job and the mud effects that I've done for this kit. The paint job that I've done looks very convincing, and adding the wash gave the color a very warm appearance, which I actually like. And the mud effects that I've done for the tracks and undercarriage, it's one of the better jobs that I've done for for making model kits. So it's actually nice. I like it. And of course, the details on this kit are excellent. Tamiya has outdone themselves in terms of making a very detailed model kit for this self-propelled vehicle. Just going off the subject, when I look at this self-propelled vehicle, it looks menacing to me. If I use my imagination, this front part looks more like a hideous face of a monster. I could see the eyes, the mouth, and the nose. And so if I was the enemy, and if I had to see this vehicle from the front, this does look very menacing to me, very scary. So this is a nice model kit, and I really highly recommend it for those of you who have the skill to actually build this kit. It's very nice. Highly recommended. That completes this model project. What you're about to see is a video slideshow of the entire model kit, but before I go, as always, just because I put this video here on YouTube, it doesn't make me a model kit expert. I am not an expert. I'm just a regular guy just like you. So, in this slideshow, you're going to hear a special song that you, the viewers, chose for me. In a previous video, I asked viewers like yourself to actually help me choose a song for this model kit. And many of you give me a lot of ideas about a good song for this kit. And I settled for a song called The Sacred War. It's a patriotic Russian song, and it talks really about World War II and how really about repelling Hitler's Germany during World War II. But I feel a little bit nervous about using this particular song the Sacred War, because it is a very patriotic song. So if you're Russian and if you're offended that I'm using a patriotic song to use for a model kit, I want to apologize in advance. But I like the song so much that I decided to use it. I'm QDC, and thanks for watching.
Yes,